If you've been jig fishing for tog and you're never sure when to set that hook,
that's a decent fish.
stop guessing, because there's a simple way to know exactly when to take that swing, and I'm going to share that with you right now. Okay, so this is some older footage from 2022, and I was still trying to get the hang of fishing the jig at this point. We're on Captain Pat's boat, and we're togging at the jetty, and in this clip, you're going to see us both put our baits down at the same time, and we're both going to set our hooks at the same time, but one of us is going to catch a fish, and the other is not.
Usually not. We took that right off.
Yeah, Captain Pat's on, and I came up empty. But what exactly happened right there? Well, let's take a closer look.
So this year,
Watch my rod tip very closely.
usually not. We took that right off.
As you can see, I am reacting to what I feel by setting the hook fast and hard. So what did Captain Pat do so differently? Well, if we take a closer look, you can see that he loads his rod up a bit before he follows through with a hook set. He is actually waiting to feel weight. But to better understand the technique that I have learned over the past 4 years, we're going to jump out of the boat and into the kayak. Okay, so the first tip is to fish light tackle. Using light tackle will serve two purposes. For one, it will allow us to feel the fish without the fish feeling us, but also it will allow us to be able to load up that rod like we saw Captain Pat doing, which is really important. I will leave a link in the description below for the rod and reel combo that I'm currently using, but for right now, I'm going to get to the second tip, and that's something I call the exploratory lift. The exploratory lift does serve a couple of purposes, but for this tip, we're going to use it to shake off all the smaller fish that we don't want to hook. So, you know when you're getting all those tiny little bites and you don't know exactly when to set the hook? Well, don't. Instead, do this. When you would normally set the hook, just slowly begin to lift your rod tip up, maybe about 6 inches or so. And most of the time, those smaller fish that are biting on your jig are just going to let go. At that point, you should just slowly set it back down to the bottom, and what you're hoping for is that a bigger fish will move in. So when exactly we setting that hook? Well, this is the best part, and the third tip. You know that exploratory lift we use to shake off the small fish? When you lift your rod tip, if at any time that jig feels stuck, and this is where light tackle gives you an advantage, slowly load up that rod, and if you achieve a rod bend that looks something like this, that's when you're going to follow through with a hook set. 95% of the time, that's going to be a fish.
That's a decent fish.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of examples of this method in action, and the last clip is going to come with a bonus tip. You know, it's funny, before I learned to fish with this method, I used to think I wasn't setting the hook fast enough. Watch this next delayed hook set. There's the hit, and there's the fish.
There we go. Ooh. Ooh. This is a good one, obviously.
It's patience, guys. You gotta be patient.
Definitely a tog, man. Right to a drag right away. Nice size.
Oh, wow, look at the size of this one. Woo, this one's a netter. Holy cow, what a pig. Damn, that is a nice sized tog, dude. He's like 20 inches. Bye-bye. Wow, man. All right, for this next scenario, I just want to say one thing. You know, I've heard a lot of YouTubers say, don't move your bait, you're going to spook the fish. In this clip, I'm going to swing and miss the hook set, and that should scare him off, right? Watch this spooked fish come in and smash this jig immediately after. Yep, not only doesn't it scare the fish, it's actually how I draw most of my strikes.
Nice.
So this clip is a perfect example as to why I do an exploratory lift every time upon hitting the bottom. In this particular instance, this fish caught the jig on the way down. So what I thought was bottom was actually the fish taking the jig. The exploratory lift helps me to figure this out and allows me to catch the fish that I didn't know were there. This is a good fish, man. Bite's really turning on now, man. Happy about that. Let's take a gander at this one. Yeah, he's looking like a keeper here. Oh yeah. Oh, 15 and a half, almost 16. All right, keep this one too. It's a 4-fish limit. I'm not really looking to load up on meat, but I'm gonna probably keep some for Captain Pat. I know he'd appreciate having some. Okay, so this brings us to the final clip and the bonus tip. But before I tell you what that is, let's eavesdrop a little bit and hear what I have to say. So it really pays to drop your bait down slowly. Just to check the water column all the time, because you just never know. I mean, this is not the first time I've experienced tog feeding in the middle of the water column. So yeah, the bonus tip is tog don't always feed on the bottom. In fact, I've caught them before in 40 feet of water, 5 feet below the surface. And I do have a whole strategy for targeting tog and sheep's head for that matter in the middle of the water column, but that's a whole nother video. So keep an eye out for that one. While we're on the subject, do you know how we're going to set the hook on this tog? Well, we're going to use the exploratory lift, of course. Watch this. Oh. Yeah, he was in structure. I could hear it. I don't know what he was in. I could hear it clicking on my line. Another decent tog. All right, that's all for now. I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did, hit that like button, smash that notification bell, and please consider supporting me by subscribing to my channel at South Jersey Yak Fishing. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, I left links in the description for the rod and reel combo that I am using if you need it. Catch you next time, guys. Peace.